And hi guys, and welcome to Gage Reviews with me as my dear colleague from Superheroes Bulgaria, Logan K. Hi Logan!
Hi,
And we are
we are
gathered
here.
here today to bring you spoiler discussion of Black Widow. I was gonna say Wonder Woman for some unknown reasons.
Because you're
So
thinking about her. Oh.
yeah, I'm thinking about Wonder Woman. I don't know why. And yeah, guys, so we're going to talk about the movie, full spoiler discussion, what we didn't like, what we liked about it. So if you haven't seen it, please don't watch this review until you see the movie, of course. So spoiler warning if that is not clear enough by the title and the huge letters under us. And
Oh.
uh, yeah, unlike other times, we're not exactly in the same opinion. But one thing that we have to get out of the way is how are, those characters, Taskmaster and Red Guardian in the comic books, which Logan can fill us in. I think that is very important for people to get how the characters are portrayed in the movie. So Logan can provide that. So thank you, Logan,
Well,
in
always a pleasure.
advance.
Well, portrait is a strong word. But, but anyway, so let's start with Red Guardian, played by David Harbour, who actually played everything nice. I mean, he was one part that I was kind of not sure from the trailers when I looked at it, and I say, maybe, kind of, but, okay, but whatever he had to play, he played it good.
Mhm.
Now, the only thing here is that Alexei Shostakov, which is a great Russian name, by the way. I don't know how Marvel always get those names when they make Russian characters.
Mhm.
Now, in the comic books, he's actually the second Red Guardian, but the most famous. There is one before him called Alexei Lebedev. Everybody's called Alexei in Marvel Universe, apparently.
That's
But
that's funny. Yeah.
for him, people don't know so much. I mean, he just appears, he just mentioned in a comic book in 1991. So they said, there was one before him, and but nothing else. That he started his career somewhere in World War II, and that's it. When Shostakov is actually the most famous. There are actually 7 Red Guardians,
Wow.
but Shostakov is the one with the longer story. The others just make short appearances. One of them is a woman. The third one actually is a woman. That is a Russian scientist, genetics or something like that, as far as I remember. And then some of them are like there is one, the seventh one, that is a mutant. There is actually a group of Russian heroes called the Winter Guard, which is like the Russian version of the Avengers. And the seventh Red Guardian is actually the mutant one, is their leader, who has the power of absorbing energy and push it back to you with kinetic energy or things like that.
That is
Nice
so
power.
freaking interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Right.
Any of this actually.
And then some of the others, there is one that is called just Anton for some reason, who who claims to be an engineer that created some of the things during the war and something like that. But it turns out for him to be a life model decoy. Those who don't know, life model decoys are the LMD, as they call them, are these sophisticated robots that you would create that they're an exact copy of an exact person. So some of them actually don't even know that they are robots. They just look exactly like the person, behave like them, think like them, have all the powers, and just do a perfect copy. Nick Fury uses them all the time. I think they show the concept in the Agents of Shield, the TV show, but I stopped with that show after 5 episodes in the first season. So, but as well as
Oh,
I know, they showed it in the third or in the fourth season. They introduced the idea, so
yeah.
maybe they'll pop up in some of the main movies actually. But the idea was introduced. So Anton was actually one of those robots.
Interesting.
And,
Oh, I actually watched Agents of Shields for like maybe I don't know. I mean, I stopped 2 years ago, so I don't know what that season is, but they were on a planet, and that is all I can tell you. I don't
yeah,
remember anything
I
else.
think that in third season they showed the idea. They even show a life model decoy or something, and so I just saw bits of pieces. So
So,
yeah, but all the other Red Guardians actually just have for short poppings there, so that people know, yes, there is a Red Guardian. But Shostakov was actually the one with the longer history, who Again, started in World War II. He was one of the best test pilots in KGB. Wow, imagine that. So good that he was so over the media in Russia during that time, and they gave him new jets to test always, which are dangerous. But he already showed he won several victories for Russia during the war with his pilot skills, pilot and marksman skills, of course. And he was he was the husband of Natasha in the comic books.
Oh,
Yes, but he didn't behave like the one in the movie. I mean, he was kind of like Captain America, just a Russian, believing in justice, just in Russian. Just you believing, as we say.
mhm.
And overall a nice person. And because of his victories and his skills as a pilot, he was the best choice for a super soldier program of KGB, of course, because they needed to stick it to Captain America and to say, yes, we have ours now. But now to do this, because KGB, of course, they had to fake his death, and they hide this even from Natasha. So Natasha thought that he was actually dead. She
Wow.
didn't know. And he had to agree on that because, Russia, everything for the government and things like that. And during the period that he was supposedly dead, actually, they trained him. He doesn't have a super soldier serum or something like that, although in the movie he has superpowers, or kind of, I mean, we see some feats
Oh,
that,
he does.
you
I
know,
mean,
yeah,
he can
mhm,
jump very, very good,
yeah,
very far,
he
and lift stuff. Like,
crushed a door, that was a big metal door. So yeah, he lifted stuff. So we clearly see that he has powers. They just didn't show exactly how to.
yeah, I mean, what
And
was the serum, all of those things,
yeah,
because there are so
I
many
thought
variants.
they're going to show. Maybe they just know. Yeah, people would think like he's a superhero. So yeah, he just has something like an experiment or something. Probably an experiment. But in the comic books, he actually doesn't have a serum or something. He doesn't have superpowers. He's just a well-trained athlete, and of course, because comic books, he's a master of all sorts of hand-to-hand combat techniques.
But of course, because he doesn't have
Yeah, of course,
superpower, so he has to be
yeah.
like
But
Batman to a
he
certain
stood up to
extent.
Captain America in one occasion in the comic books. They actually meet in because during the period he's actually in training and becoming the new Red Guardian, and Natasha sees that there is a Red Guardian, but she doesn't know that this is her husband. She still thinks that he is dead, and that's the moment in which she actually defects from KGB and goes to America to become an Avenger, thinking he's dead, and Russia and the Red Room and the other things that happened, and she defects to America. And in that period, he becomes more and more entangled with KGB and their shenanigans, let's say. So he actually became more ruthless and more ready to do everything for the government and for the country.
Hmm.
So this is where he actually gets further away from Captain America in the ideology, because it's everything for the country. Steve actually understands that it's not just blind believing of the government and what they tell you, and but Shostakov doesn't. He does everything so far that actually there is a battle in China in which he has to help a Chinese general to protect a secret weapon that they have, and of course the Avengers are sent there to destroy that weapon, and he has to fight with them. That's the moment that he actually meets with Captain America, and they fight, and he's actually doing pretty good. He can he's using a shield here in the movie for a second or two. Now, this Red Guardian, so Alexei Shostakov actually doesn't use a shield, but he has like a small disc that he keeps on his belt that he can actually throw as a weapon,
Hmm.
you know. But some of the other Guardians are actually using shields most of the time. But he doesn't. He's using just this small thingy that small but still dangerous. It's
Who
like a
needs
bat.
guns, though?
Yeah, yeah. True. I mean, you're a soldier, but
I mean,
and
that's
he's
kind of
doing
ridiculous.
pretty good versus Cap, but of course, in the end, he cannot defeat him. Plus, Natasha sees him at that moment because she's already an Avenger, and looking at him, she sees something familiar, and that's the moment in which he actually pulls off his mask and tells her, "Yes, it's me, and I'm alive." Oh, sure,
Ah,
yeah, and
thanks, honey.
yes, and then he actually tries to protect them because he kind of starts to understand that what he's doing is not okay. But he's killed by the Chinese general there, who is supposed to be his ally. But he sees, no, you're not in the regime anymore, so let's kill you. And you want to help the Americans there, yeah.
Mhm.
So he's killed in that one. But later, several years later, actually, he turns out to be alive, and he's
Again.
the new, yeah, again. And actually, now it turns out that this alive Shustakov is actually a life model decoy, again, type of robots that was created for unknown reasons. But he thinks that that it's Shustakov. I mean, that robot thinks that it's this one. He has all the powers, all the skills, and he actually takes the mantle of Ronin, like many heroes before that. Like in the MCU, Hawkeye was Ronin in Endgame for 15 minutes.
Yes.
But that's a persona that many characters actually have, and Shustakov was one of them. And his mission there was to kill different types of spies. So one of these targets is actually Natasha. But
Oh,
she, of
no.
course, defeats him, and she knows that this is not her real husband, but a life model decoy. Supposedly, she destroys him, but he actually stays alive. And this life model decoy, we get to the interesting part. After that, actually, um, gets to a very interesting country, and he actually rises to power in ranks there, and that country is Bulgaria.
Ah!
Yeah, I'm not
What?
joking. Yes, it's Bulgaria.
What the
So
hell?
yeah, it's in the comic books. Yes. So and this would explain a lot of things that happen in Bulgaria actually, because we have a life model decoy of Red Guardian, aka Ronin,
Where?
rising rank and power. Well, they don't say. But yeah. So and
We
he's still
missed
there.
it.
Yes, you missed it. Blink and you miss.
Today is
And
voting day, by the way, and if I
oh
knew
yeah,
that there was
so
a
we
Red
can vote
Guardian,
for him. We can vote for him. Vote
yeah, we
for
could vote for
life
him.
model decoy. You see how
Oh God,
dramatic we got.
I can't
So,
believe
and
this.
that's it. Now, probably after the movie, he might get more famous. I mean, he has some appearances in cartoons once or twice, but not a big role. He's again usually part of a team in some of the cartoons, and that's it pretty much. Not a well-known character or something. That's why I thought that they actually will put more spotlight on him. But they decided not so much. Now, Taskmaster is more interesting. His story is a bit now. Imagine, don't imagine. Actually, listen carefully. I say his story.
Yes, I know he's a man.
Yeah.
At least
So
that
yeah,
I know.
yeah. Well, it was kind of actually. I think we knew that in the movie is going to be a one because they said that Olga Kirilenko plays in the movie, but they never said as who,
Oh yes,
and she
she's from
wasn't
James
on
Bond, right?
posters. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of see the beauty in the costume. I mean, you see the costume and you say it's a woman inside. I mean,
No,
kind.
I was watching the costume and I was like, okay, why did they pick a skinny guy to be in that
Yeah, well,
costume?
with the legs, when they show a close up of the legs, and I kind of say these are woman legs. They kind of look
Well,
like don't know.
that shot where he is getting out of the car the first time where he blew Black
Mm,
Widow, I was like, wow, those are some crooked legs
right?
for
Yeah.
some
So
reason.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean they are woman legs, they're just crooked, they're
I
not
don't know.
like
They look like
straight.
a woman's leg to me. Exactly, but yes. So in the comic book, it's a man. Tony Masters, I think. They kind of again use the same name because here she was called Antonia. You know,
Oh,
she
yeah.
was. So Tony Masters just he was born with those powers of
Being able to
photographic
copy.
memory, as they always call
Uh-huh.
it, but he called it more like a photographic reflexes. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever he watches, he can do after that. So ever since he was young, for example, he discovered kind of when he was 8, and he discovered that, for example, he can watch a man jumping from a trampoline into a swimming pool and he can repeat that same
Mm.
movement. Then he, for example, watched old rodeo shows or cowboy movies and he learned how to use a lasso just by watching. Uh, if he's watching someone who is playing a piano, for example, he can do that also. So he just needs to watch how the heroes or the villains fight, and he incorporates all of these movements. So he can do all of those things. He cannot repeat a superpower, of course, because his body is not. It's a normal body.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if he's watching how Spider-Man is lifting a car, he cannot do that. Yeah,
That is a very
just
good
he
thing to
can watch
point
how
out.
Spider-Man is fighting, and then he can repeat his fighting style. The only person that he kind of had trouble with that is Deadpool because they fought together and he actually lost because he said that Deadpool is too random to guess what is going to happen next. So he can mimic the moves, but he cannot guess what he's going to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if he's actually copy Captain America style, then he can also guess the next step that Cap is going to do
Mm-hmm.
because he already knows. But with Deadpool, it's not the same.
But
Well,
he kind of he knows. I mean, not that he knows, but he is creating this type of a pattern in his head when he watches someone. That's how I understand it. So that's
yeah,
how he can guess the next move because if he watches how somebody fights for a prolonged period of time, he can understand his tactics in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of
The
moves.
whole style, yeah, it doesn't need to be for that long. I mean, he just needs. It's better if he sees it live, but sometimes he just needed some videos and things like that to do it. And he even can mix and match all these styles to create something of his own. And this is also with the weapons. That's why in comic books you can see him with a bow because he with bow and arrows because he can shoot like Hawkeye, or even throw things like he has a shield so he can throw it like Cap, or even other things like Bullseye, who
Mm-hmm.
is from Daredevil.
Yeah.
And sword fighting and all sorts of things. There was actually years ago when these two companies were friends and people didn't have the stupid war DC versus Marvel. There was a comic book crossover between the two of them, and actually he copied the style of Batman. So,
Ah.
so
Wow.
here, yeah, and
That he can copy fully because he's a human.
yeah. So the only thing is that at one moment he was working as a shield agent in the beginning using those skills. And then he found a scientist who actually gave him something like a serum that he said this will make your memory even bigger, so you can remember more things and more techniques. So he used it. It turns out that yes, he can remember more things as new styles, but this was actually a minus to his real memory. Every time he watched a new style to learn something new, a real memory actually got away, a
Ah.
real life memory. So he actually didn't even remember his name. He has a daughter, but he's not sure is this his daughter and things like that. So he actually had at one moment an assistant that she had to keep all his bank accounts and other things to remember because he actually forget all those things. That's why he actually stopped being at Shield after that, because he forgot kind of.
Well, that
So
is
this
extremely
was the
huge, like minus to his powers. Like his powers are
yeah.
not even worth it, you know.
Yeah,
That's gonna
because
be
you
the
become really
price.
strong when you have all these styles, but you keep forgetting stuff from your life.
You know,
And
I have to rename the stream after the stream because it's basically what are the real Taskmaster and Red Guardian like in the comic books.
well, yeah, I mean, it's great to have context when you watch it in the movies because they're just there. I mean, Taskmaster in the movie could have been everyone,
Yeah, and it's
kind of.
all that it is to him is his powers. I mean, her powers, that power, sorry, technology. The technology and something in her that makes her stronger, like a super soldier.
Mm.
I
I
mean,
think her
why?
father did things. So I mean, I couldn't understand that she was watching the videos of heroes and she could repeat the styles, but what was the thing with the flash drive thingy that they put inside her neck? I mean, was this to control her, or it was because I thought maybe they input more videos into her mind or something like that?
I'm not sure what that was. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was implied that Whatever is on her glasses, on her helmet glasses, that was the technology allowing her to see the pattern in someone's movements. It was scanning
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
and
Which was
basically
trained with a
making,
Black Widow doll, so I mean,
yeah, it was making an
well,
algorithm. So just to say thank you to Dear Titan for the feedback. Yeah,
but he's nice.
it's great that the stream is running and not crashed yet. He said, yeah, I had feeling it was a woman, but I wasn't sure. Then when they showed Dreykov's daughter had died, I thought, plot twist maybe. She survived somehow. Yeah, although how the heck she survived, it's beyond
Yeah, that
me.
was the moment in which I said, okay, so it's her. You know, I thought for the moment that it was Melina, but then I remembered, no, wait, in comic book, she's a different character and she's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah, she was pretty great, by the way. I always love Rachel Wells. Rachel. Damn it, I always forget her last name.
It was, yeah.
But
She was
she's
great, yeah.
awesome.
Again, much differences from the comic books in which she's actually a bad person called Iron Maiden. but uh,
Oh, that's so cool.
but, uh, but yeah, I mean, she's just one of the other agents. But here she was done better. I mean, they clearly show that here you have two other characters that actually have less stories in the comic book, but you elevate them, and you have other two that you just put there to have someone, So they could have done more with Taskmaster. That's one of my gripes, actually, as in terms of also great action scenes, but they could have been a bit more with him, her, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
No,
he
it's not
was
a
a
problem that
comic
it's a woman.
relief, basically. Not Taskmaster, Red Guardian. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
thinking about Red
Red
Guardian.
Guardian. Which is again not a problem. Just to me, it was that the again typically Marvel they had these actually impactful scenes that they just need to be left for 5 more minutes to marinate, as people say, and then put the joke, but they didn't let the scene get you, and then again a joke. Like for example, when Yelena was speaking about how they took out her, uterus and the other things, which is
Oh, that was
not a
painful.
funny thing. Not a funny thing, but it was presented as, they just took it out and it was, it was supposed to, I mean, it was supposed to be something like, the things in the red room that they have done to them were not okay things. And she presented it as something, imagine they just took it out and they cut everything and it was supposed to be like a gross thingy or something. I mean,
Well, actually,
no.
I got this scene, the sarcasm, because, he was like, are you on your period or something? And that was supposed to mean, oh, she is so bitter right now because she's acting this way, from a guy's perspective. And she was like, oh, I don't have my period because they took all of my organs out. And that that's supposed to be, nailing it on the head that what they did to her was horrible and he should know these things before he sends girls there consciously. So that was a sarcasm on her part. Uh,
Probably he doesn't know what they actually have done to them. So,
yeah, I
but
mean, that
still,
was her point. That was her point that he
But
doesn't
still,
know.
she can present it as something more. I know women who actually had operations like that, and when they explain it, there is no sarcasm in it. They just say it's not a good thing.
Yeah, of course it's
So
not, but they did that when they were little kids, so it was a bit different. Uh,
still, still. I actually didn't get exactly yes. What this did Red Guardian knows what they have done to them, or
no,
just just
obviously not.
yeah. Obviously, he was bored to death of his life there. Apparently,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
some of these moments I didn't take them. I mean, I realized the severity of them, but in the same time, I realized what they are going with when they did that scene. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be very on place if she was like, "Oh, do you know how they cut me out?" And that's not gonna.
Remove something, but to explain it like they have done this and this, and this is the things that I wanted them to focus more. I mean, maybe the things in the later one, because the beginning was great actually. The whole opening when they take them and with the music, which is again a cover of
That was
famous
great.
song.
Uh,
That was great, and it actually shows. Look what happens in the later room. That's not a pretty thing to. So and I thought, yeah, well, okay, this part here, and just a bit more like the Winter Soldier, let's say. They're this is the Marvel movie with the best balance for me that actually has it. Some jokes, some key jokes. Black Panther also two, three jokes on place, and then everything else is still not so serious, but it's still you still let the scenes to hit you
Yeah,
before
well,
waiting for the joke. Like with Red Guardian, who was trying to say something again nice when he was in that glass box. I remember about Fast and Furious now with
uh,
those glass boxes. Still, and he was trying to say something, and then the glass opens and he falls down. I mean, let the person say it and then open it. For example.
yeah,
So,
but we all know that he didn't talk to the right Black Widow. So,
yeah, but still let the person spill his guts, and then at
uh,
the moment I was actually forget about these masks. They use them in Winter Soldier, I think, or
they
maybe
also
even
use
after.
them in the show, in
Ah,
the show. Damn it.
which one now? There are many shows now with
Uh,
Marvels.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, because they renamed it on the last episode. I
Ah,
mean
okay.
Falcon, but yeah, they renamed it in the last episode. It said Captain America and the Winter Soldier
I wonder
because you know
if Yelena will become the new Black Widow like in the comic books, because she will
she
be the
she
Hawkeye
is
show.
she's gonna go after Hawkeye for some reason.
Yeah, and now in the comic books, she's actually not her sister, but she's another Black Widow that is like a rival that they um train her to become the next best Black Widow after Natasha defects to America. So there is like a rivalry between the two of them. For the most part, she is a villain, but then after that, she becomes like, no, we are rivals, but sometimes we help, sometimes we don't.
Well, it's
But
interesting how they take things from the comic books, only things that they want to take, and they do somehow represent that on the big screen because they were rivals for 5 minutes when they fought.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I mean. And she is going to take after Natasha, and in the same time, she is Black Widow anyway because they're all Black Widows.
they're all Black Widows. Some of
Yeah.
them more than others, but because they stayed for there for more time actually. So
So
and
from
here,
one hand,
here the idea is that they actually take girls from all over the world, which is kind of more logical than just take people from Russia.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
it is
this
logical.
was one
Yes.
of the good parts. But I really wanted to see more of the retro. I mean, you can see that in the comic books, but in a movie, this one, like, tell you what, one thing though, this is a way better family movie than another family movie. You know.
Which one?
That's not really mine. I mean, here, the idea for the family was presented really great, actually, of this surrogate family that it's like in the Fast and Furious 9. Here, the idea was presented better, and the connection with the 4 was actually good. Still, I was kind of feeling bad for that Guardian because he wanted to be a father so much well, after they actually break him out of prison. Before that, he, you know, didn't see so much, but he was actually trying.
Yeah, he was trying because I don't know, he was guilty, but before that he was just
Probably.
for himself.
Yeah. I think he kind of understand, but they could have. He was more of a really comedy relief there. For that, we didn't even see a good display of his powers. I mean, he did almost nothing except one fight with Taskmaster, and this was fourth fight. And he again,
He failed there.
yeah, yeah.
Well, in the prison scene, he did a lot of super things there. He had to jump, fight through people, and smash bars and all of that. I mean, he did a lot of that.
But he fall down for some reason in one of the jumps. I think he was sold or something.
He was electrocuted.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, and that's why he fell down. But actually, Black Widow is not Elena sister. They're just grew up together,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're literally not sisters.
I mean that there was supposed to be sisters in that undercover thing, the sleeper family.
Yeah, I mean not biological sisters
I mean, yeah. I mean,
in that kind of way. Okay, so we don't have actually a lot of time. I think that we should talk about the movie real quick, like overall spoilery things. So, as I said in my non spoiler review, guys, I really like the movie because this is I mean, it's more than I expected. First, there was that thing where we waited for 1 year more to see it. And I was like, okay, what is there? What is going to be happening in this movie? What is so important to tell? But in reality, it's really interesting to see how so many things transpire that made sense between the Sokovian Accords and then what happened in the next Avengers movie. That is just interesting period of time, and the Red Room was never addressed in general because technically Black Widow just got out of there to save herself, and then she thought that everything is destroyed because she killed that main guy, but it turns out that's not the case. So I mean that it was good to see that all the other widows are saved or something like that, and they basically did that with this movie, and there was a meaning behind the story and all of that with these mind control nanites or whatever that was. That was just interesting because then this gave her a very good reason to go and actually do something to get involved. So it was awesome motivation for her to do something to correct something that is from her past. So that reminds me kind of Xena in that kind of a way. I mean, nothing else that is like connected to Xena in any kind of a way is except the fact that there's real motivation that would motivate the main character to go and do something. That's just what I mean. And then her sister is just a good character that we see has potential and strength and all of that, and she has spunk to her. I mean, she's not exactly perfect replacement, and at least not for me because I'm just used to Scarlett
Thank you.
Johansson. But I mean, it was for me. It was like a interesting transition, and it makes sense. And now Elena's gonna add interesting dynamics to the whole Avengers team, maybe. So overall, I'm just
Whatever is
more
left of
happy
it.
than I thought that I'm gonna be with this movie. And that's why I'm watching it again. And I'm still happy to watch it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I didn't expect to have so much meaning. I kind of expected that it's not gonna be necessary and they're just gonna, do some kind of a story that is not really so engaging. But it was, for me, it was. It wasn't like a movie that I would say, oh no, I can go without it. Actually, this is one of the most emotionally, at least to me, emotionally substantial movies that Marvel has ever done because I actually cared what was happening, which is totally the opposite of what I was thinking that the movie's gonna be like. So I'm happy with it.
Nice.
You can
Should I go
say
now? Or?
something to
I,
to summarize your thoughts now.
well, actually, as I said, I also didn't have any expectation, by the way, because usually in the comic books, her stories there are good stories with her, but they're mostly kind of the same. I mean, she was doing some spy thingies and things like that when she has a soul story in comic books. Here, at least, she's not alone. She has these other people, but they don't push her out of the scenery. I mean, she's still the focus of this
Yeah,
one.
she is,
And
yes.
I like the time period, really the time period which is after Civil War, after things that happened in Civil War. It works great. I thought it was going to be something before that, way, way, way in the past, but this was actually a great time period because then you can connect it with all the things that happens after that and have the end credit scene there, which worked okay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to transition what happened. So, in a sense, as is this a good in memoriam movie of for Black Widow, which is dead now in MCU? It is for
It
that
is,
part.
yes.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of what people would expect of Black Widow, the movie version, as we said. So it is great in that. Just kind of for me, most of the Marvel things that they usually do, villains that are kind of hey, they're there. They do things, and most of the time the things with the jokes that just land too early for me. Really, I think they actually showed parts of or addressed the Red Room in Agent Carter, the show, but I have
Hmm,
never seen it. I just heard
don't
that
remember.
they show something there already. But I really wanted for them to focus more on what exactly was happening in the Red Room. What is the whole program? I mean, it's not now. Dreykov did it now as mind control, but as they said in the movie, this was a mind control, and you were just psychologically altered or something like that. As Yelena said to Natasha, and she told her that's why it was easier for you to break out. But here you don't have a choice because of that serum and other things. I mean, you see what happens, but you can't stop it. And I wanted to see more of
Yeah,
what
there's
exactly
no
they
free
were doing
will.
here.
That was the
Yeah.
example with the pigs, how, you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
she's
Which is actually for a movie that is PG-13, there actually were things that are not so PG-13 there. I mean, that those things with the pigs, not that they showed, but they said, which is still kind of,
oh, I was
yeah, they were pigs,
disturbed.
but no,
I was
yeah,
disturbed.
exactly. So, and kind of that's it. I mean, they should have used another villain instead of just saying Taskmaster or something. I mean, make Antonia Draco, but make her something like another Black Widow that you just send after them. The most dangerous one of them or the others. This could have
Hmm.
been
Well, I
fine
think
for
they
me.
just use like secondary or third dash area characters
Yeah, kind of.
just to create the buzz around the movie, and that's why they don't just pick another Black Widow, and they incorporate characters from the comic book so they can make the movie more interesting and more with its own flavor. So that's kind of intentional to do that with other characters that people just don't know that well.
Taskmaster is not a third-rated villain. I mean, he's villain that actually fought with everyone. He's not a typical villain that you say, "Oh, that's one of Spider-Man's little guys," or "Oh, this is Caps." He's everyone, as we said. So, in sometimes I think that they make it just because fans want to see a version of that character in big screen, and they say, "Okay, here you go,
Yeah,
this one, this is your big screen version. Here you go. Happy now? No, but okay." But they still can do things with her. Actually, she survived. So
yeah,
could have
just
done
make
something with
her
that.
a woman costume this time because that's
Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
I mean, yeah. Well, this would be a bit better also. Um,
I mean, make
plus,
no
yeah,
sense for
kind
her to have
of.
a male costume unless, in the context of what they use her for. Maybe they
Mhm.
want the enemy to think that that's a man. I don't know what's the logic there. Actually, if she looked like a woman, they maybe are gonna underestimate her, so that makes more sense to me. But okay,
But they
that is
think
just
all
for us.
about
Hmm?
Black Widows, so they don't underestimate them so much. I don't know, kind of, or maybe they still do.
If they know what Black Widows even are, I mean, it's not like Black Widows are so famous on their own. They just do things undercover a lot of the times.
Yeah, now because of Natasha, she get there. But really, yeah, here the scene, the family scenes were some things that I actually liked. And especially the scene with Red Guardian and Yelena, in which he actually remembered the only thing remembering as being a father, that when he started to sing the song that it was her favorite song when she was a child,
Hmm.
actually, which was a great scene. And then you have another scene in which you can actually put Red Guardian to display his powers when the helicopters come, and you don't do it, but okay.
Well, he
And this was
was
another thing that I said,
he was shot with so many arrows.
yeah, I mean, just don't, just let him lead there with the, helicopters, or at least one helicopter to destroy, because according to the plan, he shouldn't destroy anything that he doesn't know about the plan. Which was again a great thing that actually shows you that they kind of didn't need him. As they said, you just tell us where it is. That's it, and then you can go.
He was
But
there to fill up screen time.
yeah, most of the time. But he does it great after all. I mean, as I said, David Harbour does his job perfectly. Whatever they get
Yeah,
him, he does it.
he's
Yeah.
great in Stranger Things. I mean, that is where I first saw him, and I'm watching him there
Most
still.
people saw him, I think, from there, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
waiting for the new season now. It's really great show, and of course, he was Hellboy.
yeah, but only you remember that, so
Oh, I
kind
like him as Hellboy. So what to do?
yeah, well,
Okay, guys, so we should really go, but yeah, I gave the movie, I think, 9 out of 10. Yes, 9 out of 10, because it made me feel a lot of things, and I still want to watch it several times. So for me, it's not like fast food like other Marvel movies. I feel like they're like fast food, so this is not
it's
for
way
me.
better than other Marvel movies. Yeah, I mean, give it, as we say, 7.5 or something, which is something that I will never give to Thor Ragnarok, for example, which for me
Oh
is 4.
no, no.
But or other horrifical circus acts like that. This is still an entertaining movie. I mean, you sit, you watch, you have action scenes, you have emotions, and everything is a typically Marvel, just as we said. So
Circus act, yes.
it's okay.
That's
Yeah,
exactly what it
that's
is.
perfect actually here. Yeah, so you still have the emotion. The idea of this sleeper family is really great one. So yeah, which
Yeah,
they never showed exactly in the comic books, by the way, because they don't focus on things like that. But still, maybe someday we'll see more about the Red Room. Maybe now in the TV show, actually, with Yelena, they will show in that.
yeah,
Why
and
not?
that character that shows in the end credit scene, the woman character, forgot her
Yeah.
name. She is in Falcon and Winter Soldier actually,
Aha,
but
yeah.
the
So
show was supposed to come out after Black Widow, but now it's the
ah,
opposite. So
mhm.
because I watched the show, I know who she is and what she does, at least like in general sense. And now that I see her here, it's even more of a surprise.
Yeah, doesn't this actually make even more sense now when you watched first the show and you know who she is? Or because maybe this will make the end credit scene feel even more impactful
Yeah, it
if
does. It does. I mean, that kind of
you
a
have.
order to see Falcon and Winter Soldier
Mhm.
and then Black Widow, it does make a difference. Yeah.
Right. So here we go.
Yeah, she's a
Now you have
bitch, by the
context
way.
of characters. Well, she's supposed to be probably, so you know.
Yeah, but she's so funny. I mean, she's really funny. She's really forward and funny.
Or
So I
probably
like her.
when she's part of the other show, you'll be again funny.
Well, she recruited um, the other Captain America, damn it, American agent. What was his name?
US agent, yes.
Um,
Frank Walker.
yes,
John Walker. Frank Walker. John Walker.
John Walker. Yeah, she recruits
John, yeah.
him when he is ostracized and basically kicked out of being Captain America, and she makes him to be an American agent or whatever his name was,
US
and
agent.
a U.S. agent. Yes, so yeah, she does that, and she recruits him. So now he works for her officially.
I have to write an article about him in the comic books, actually. That's a good idea. But first, Taskmaster. Now, next thing to write is.
Yes, good idea.
Yeah,
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 do
yeah.
him justice,
Well, yeah,
whatever
it will
possible. So yeah, guys,
should be.
that's gonna be it for this spoiler discussion. I may as well change the title later because that's gonna be more accurate representation of this discussion. Let us know what you think
Maybe
in the
some.
comments. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And as always, if you'd like to support me, check out the links down below to my OnlyFans where I do my meaningful sex educational content, plus fitness, health, nutrition, all of those things. And till next time, with me, Gary G Reviews and Logan K, of course. Bye bye.